You see, there comes a moment in your life when talking ain't enough, hoping ain't enough, wishing ain't enough. That's when beast mode gets activated. Beast mode ain't something you turn on when it's sunny outside. Beast mode gets activated when it's raining, when it's storming, when you broke, when you tired, when everybody else gave up and you still grinded. Beast mode means you don't wait for motivation, you create it. You don't wait for opportunity, you become the opportunity. You're not competing with the world, you're competing with the version of you that didn't show up yesterday. You think greatness comes easy? You think lions wake up and ask permission to hunt? No, when a beast is hungry, it hunts. And when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, you don't stop till it's yours. Beast mode activated means you show up to practice when no one else is there. You study when they party, you work when they sleep, you grind when it hurts. And when you feel like quitting, that's when you go harder. This ain't for the weak, this ain't for the lazy. This is for those who are ready to take everything they ever dreamed of by force. So I don't know what you're facing today, but if you hear me, then it's time, discipline over motivation. That's the foundation of greatness. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, it's intense, but it doesn't last. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning even when the wind is howling and everything in you wants to quit. You see, the problem with most people is that they wait to feel like doing something. They wait for that emotional high, that perfect YouTube video, that one quote to get them out of bed and push them into action. But the truth is, if you're waiting on motivation, you're already behind. Because the ones who are truly successful, the ones who activate beast mode every single day, they don't operate based on emotion. They operate based on discipline. Discipline means showing up even when you're tired. It means putting in the reps when nobody's watching, when the music is off and the crowd is gone. Discipline is waking up early, not because you have to, but because you made a promise to yourself. And real beasts don't break promises to themselves. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the mood in which you made the commitment is gone. Motivation might get you started. It might even carry you through a few good days. But when it rains, when it gets hard, when life throws setbacks at you, motivation is nowhere to be found. That's when discipline steps in and takes over. You have to understand something. The human brain is designed to avoid discomfort. It wants to protect you. It wants you to stay in bed, hit snooze, take the easy route. But discipline overrides that instinct. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel, I made a decision. When you live by discipline, you separate yourself from 98% of the world. Why? Because most people don't finish what they start. Most people fall back into old habits, but not you. Not when beast mode is activated. Think about it. The most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, they don't win because they always motivated. They win because they've built the habit of discipline. Kobe Bryant didn't make 1,000 free throws a day because he was motivated. He did it because he had the discipline to keep showing up. Michael Jordan didn't become the GOAT because he was always pumped up. He became the GOAT because he kept working when others went home. That's what separates good from great. The willingness to be consistent, especially when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's lonely. And look, I get it. You're human. You get tired. You doubt yourself. You don't always feel like showing up. But here's the mindset shift. You have to stop negotiating with your goals. You don't ask yourself, do I feel like working today? You don't give yourself options. You wake up and you get to it. Period. Because every time you skip the workout, every time you cheat the grind, every time you push something off until later, you're not just wasting time, you're training yourself to break your word. But every time you push through, every time you show up when it's hard, you're building trust with yourself. And that trust, that's where confidence comes from. Confidence doesn't come from motivational speeches. It comes from knowing deep down that you've done the work. It comes from those early mornings and late nights, from keeping the promises no one else sees, from staying locked in when distractions are everywhere. Discipline builds character. It builds resilience. It's the voice that says, I didn't come this far to stop now. So let me ask you, are you chasing feelings or are you chasing goals? Because feelings are temporary, but goals are permanent. When you lock in with discipline, you train your mind to lead and your body to follow. You stop letting emotions drive the car. You put purpose in the driver's seat. And when that happens, you become dangerous. Because now no matter what the day throws at you, you keep moving forward. And here's the beautiful part. The more you exercise discipline, the stronger it gets. It's like a muscle. At first it's hard. Waking up early is hard. Saying no to distractions is hard. Choosing the gym over the couch is hard. But you do it once, and then again, and suddenly what used to be hard becomes normal. It becomes your identity. You're no longer someone who tries to be disciplined. You are disciplined. That's who you are. That's who you become. And the world starts to take notice. Not because you talk about your goals, but because you walk in them. You live them. You don't need to tell people you locked in. They see it. They feel it in your energy, your routine, your presence. You become the standard. And when setbacks come, and trust me, they will, you don't fold. You don't panic because discipline has already prepared you for the storm. This is the difference between being interested and being committed. Motivation means you're interested. Discipline means you're committed. And committed people, they don't need perfect conditions. They create conditions. They bring their own weather. They bring their own fire. And even when they're tired, discouraged, or doubt it, they show up. So remember this: motivation will get you moving, but only discipline will keep you going. It's not about how fired up you are when you start. It's about how consistent you are when it's tough, when it's boring, when it feels like nothing is working. That's where the breakthrough lives. That's where beast mode is truly activated. Be disciplined, be relentless, be unshakable, beast mode every day. Not just when you feel like it. Consistency is power. It's the force that turns average into excellent, good into great, and great into unstoppable. See, anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can be committed for a week. Anybody can show up when they feel good, when the energy is high, when things are going their way. But the ones who win, the ones who truly activate beast mode, they're the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. Consistency is the bridge between your goals and your results. You can have the best plan in the world. You can have dreams so big they scare people. But if you're not consistent, it won't matter. If you're not showing up daily, putting in the reps, building brick by brick, then all you got is potential. And potential means nothing without execution. What separates the top 1% from the rest isn't just talent. It's their ability to do the right thing over and over without needing applause or recognition. They don't need someone cheering them on. They don't need a camera in their face. They grind in the dark so they can shine in the light. They mastered the art of doing the small things every single day, knowing that those small things compound into massive results. Consistency is power because it's not flashy, it's foundational. It's doing the work when it's not exciting. It's practicing the basics when everybody else is chasing shortcuts. It's staying on your mission even when the emotions fade. Because let's be real, your emotions are going to lie to you. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel like giving up. But consistency doesn't care how you feel. Consistency shows up anyway. You want to get stronger? Lift weights consistently. You want to be smarter? Read, study, and apply knowledge consistently. You want to build a business? Market, serve, and improve consistently. There's no secret. There's no magic formula. It's all about what you do daily. It's your habits, it's your rituals, it's your routine. And here's the truth. Being consistent isn't always exciting. It's not glamorous. It can feel repetitive, but that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because while most people are distracted by the next new thing, by the hype, by the dopamine hit of instant gratification, you're locked in. You're focused on progress, not perfection. You're focused on showing up and improving by just 1% every day. And over time, that adds up to results they can't even comprehend. You want beast mode? You want to dominate? Then you need to stop quitting and start committing. Stop starting over and start building momentum. Because every time you quit, every time you pause, every time you take a break, you lose that edge. You lose the fire you've been feeding. But when you stay consistent, even if you're not perfect, you're building something unbreakable. That's the power of consistency. It creates confidence. You stop wondering if you'll make it because you know you're doing the work. You stop doubting your worth because your actions are aligned with your vision. You start to believe in yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you've shown up enough times to earn that belief. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. Consistency flips that. It slows you down, yes, but it builds you up. It helps you build systems instead of chasing motivation. It keeps you rooted when the winds of failure or criticism start blowing. Because consistency doesn't just build skill, it builds resilience. Let's say you're trying to get in shape. You go to the gym for 3 hours once a week. That's not going to do much. But you go 30 minutes every day, that's where the change happens. Or maybe you're trying to become a better speaker, writer, or leader. Practicing for an hour once in a while won't make you elite. But daily reps, daily feedback, daily growth, that's the game. That's the difference maker. It's not just about intensity, it's about frequency. It's about repetition. Champions aren't made in moments. They're made in the mundane, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the sacrifice of comfort for purpose, in the grind that no one else sees. That's where greatness is born. And only the consistent get to experience it. So ask yourself, what are you doing consistently? Are you consistently complaining, or are you consistently improving? Are you consistently making excuses, or are you consistently executing? Because every action you take, every habit you build, every choice you make, they're shaping your future, whether you see it or not. And here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Consistency is hard. It's hard because it requires patience. It requires trust in the process. It requires you to keep going even when there's no immediate payoff. But that's the price of success. That's the cost of excellence. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you'll never unlock your full potential. Beast mode doesn't mean going hard for a week. It means going steady, going focused, going disciplined every day for months and years. It means doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. And it means having the humility to keep grinding even when the world hasn't recognized your greatness yet. Because eventually the world catches up, the results show, the rewards come. The people who once doubted you start asking how you did it, and the answer, consistency. So if you want to win not just once but for life, then lock in. Build your habits, show up daily, keep your promises, and remember, the power doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from doing the right things repeatedly. That's how you activate beast mode every single day. Pain is temporary, but most people don't believe that. Most people run from pain, avoid it, complain about it, and let it control their decisions, but not you. If you want to activate beast mode, you have to understand pain differently. You have to see it not as a punishment, but as preparation, not as something to fear, but as something to fight through. Because on the other side of pain is growth. On the other side of pain is greatness. And the only way to get to that side is to go through it. See, the world has taught us to seek comfort, to avoid struggle, to numb ourselves when it gets tough. But the truth is, the most powerful lessons you will ever learn are born out of pain. Think about every defining moment in your life. Was it easy? No. It hurt. It stretched you. It tested you. It made you want to give up. But it also made you better, stronger, wiser, more focused. That's what pain does when you embrace it. Pain has a purpose. And if you can endure it, if you can lean into it, it will sharpen you. Because pain is a sign that you're pushing past limits. It's a sign that you're leaving your comfort zone. You don't grow in comfort. You don't level up when everything is easy. You grow when life punches you in the gut and you stand back up. You evolve when everything in you says quit, but you keep going anyway. People ask, why does it hurt so much? Because transformation always comes at a cost. You can't become someone new without letting go of who you used to be. And that process is painful, but necessary. You want to reach the next level, you want to build a legacy, then get ready to suffer a little. Get ready to walk through fire, because the ones who make it aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who didn't quit when it got hard. Pain is not the enemy, quitting is. Pain will test you, but it's up to you whether it breaks you or builds you. When you feel that pressure, when you feel like screaming, crying, collapsing, that's when you've got to dig deep. That's when beast mode kicks in, because beast mode doesn't avoid pain, it welcomes it. It says bring it on, because every time you go through pain and keep moving, you build something unshakable inside you. You build grit, you build resilience, you build character. The people you admire, the ones who inspire you, they didn't become great by avoiding pain. They became great because they endured it. They stayed in the fight. They kept swinging when they were bleeding. They kept believing when nothing made sense. That's what champions do. They don't need a perfect path. They just need a purpose bigger than their pain. Pain is temporary. It may last a minute, an hour, a day, or even a year. But if you push through, something better will take its place. Quitting lasts forever, and the truth is, the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. You can choose your pain. The pain of getting up early, of putting in the work, of sacrificing comfort, or the pain of looking back and knowing you never gave it everything, that you quit too soon, that you walked away right before the breakthrough. You have to decide what's more important, staying comfortable or becoming legendary, because they're not the same path. You don't get to the top by coasting. You don't become elite by avoiding pain. You get there by facing it head on, by using it, by making pain your fuel. When you train your mind to endure pain, you become dangerous, because nothing can shake you. Obstacles don't break you. Setbacks don't scare you. You start to look at pain and say, I've been through worse and I'm still standing. That mindset, that's beast mode. That's the mindset that changes lives. Pain is also a teacher. It reveals what you're made of. It shows you where you need to grow. When things are hard, you learn who your real friends are. You discover what you really want. You find out how bad you're willing to fight for it. That's why pain is powerful, because it exposes the truth. And once you know the truth, you can change your life. So when the pain comes, and it will, don't panic, don't fold, don't retreat. Breathe, focus, and keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it hurts. Forward is forward. And every step through the fire is a step closer to your destiny. Pain builds your story, and one day your story will inspire others. People will look at what you went through and say, if they made it, so can I. But first you have to survive it. You have to endure it. You have to trust that what you're going through now is shaping the future you asked for. So don't curse the pain. Use it. Let it mold you into the warrior you were born to be. This life will not hand you greatness. You have to earn it. And the price? Pain. But that pain is worth it, because the victory on the other side, the peace, the pride, the purpose, that's priceless. So stop running, stop hiding, stop waiting for the pain to disappear. It won't. But you can grow through it. You can rise through it. You can activate a level of strength you never even knew you had. If you're willing to fight through the fire, pain is temporary, but who you become because of it, that's forever. You've got to want it more than you want to breathe. That's the difference between good and great, average and extraordinary, settling and dominating. This isn't just about being hungry. Hunger fades. This is about obsession. This is about passion. So strong it wakes you up in the middle of the night. It gets you out of bed before the alarm clock even rings. It's that fire deep inside your chest that refuses to die out. You gotta want it so bad that nothing else matters more. Not sleep, not comfort, not distractions, nothing. People talk about success like it's something they hope to achieve, like it's a lottery ticket. Like maybe if they're lucky, it'll happen. But those people, they never get it, because this isn't about luck. It's about want. It's about how bad you want it, how deep you're willing to dig, how far you're willing to go when everything around you says stop. You don't stumble into greatness. You chase it, you hunt it down, you wrestle it until it's yours. You got to be willing to sacrifice, not once, not occasionally, but daily. That means giving up temporary pleasures for long-term gains. That means saying no to parties, distractions, negativity, and sometimes even people who don't align with your purpose. You've got to want it bad enough that when everyone else is chilling, relaxing, watching TV, you're grinding, you're studying, you're training, you're perfecting your craft. Every great person you admire, every legend, every icon, they didn't just want it, they craved it. They ate, slept, breathed it. They woke up with it on their mind and they went to sleep dreaming about it. You think Michael Jordan became MJ because he just liked basketball? Do you think he became lean just because he just liked basketball? No, he needed it. He obsessed over it. Kobe Bryant didn't show up to the gym once in a while. He was the first to arrive, last to leave, because he wanted it more than anyone else. That's the key. You got to want it more than you want sleep, more than you want popularity, more than you want a social life, more than you want to be liked. Because if you want to reach that next level, it's going to take focus that borders on crazy. You've got to tune out the noise, shut out the doubt, silence the fear, and lock in on your dream with tunnel vision. It's not going to be easy. It never is. The higher the goal, the harder the grind. That's how it's designed, because greatness isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who are willing to suffer, to sweat, to struggle, to bleed for what they believe in. That's the price. So you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? When the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and you're tired, do you hit snooze? Or do you get up because you remember your dream? When your friends are out having fun and you're alone with your work, do you feel sorry for yourself? Or do you smile because you know you're building something bigger? When failure hits and knocks the wind out of you, do you quit? Or do you stand up, wipe the blood from your face and go another round? Wanting it means embracing all of it. The pain, the loneliness, the setbacks, the grind. Wanting it means accepting that every day won't feel good, but every day counts. You've got to find a reason so strong, so unshakable that it drives you no matter what. That reason, that's your why. And your why has to be bigger than any excuse you could ever come up with. It has to be so powerful that when life hits hard, and trust me, it will, your why pushes you forward. Your why says, not today. We're not quitting. We didn't come this far just to come this far. Your why is what fuels that beast mode inside you. It reminds you that average is not your destiny. Mediocrity doesn't live here. You weren't put on this earth to blend in. You were built to stand out, to dominate, to lead. But to get there, you've got to want it. Not halfway, all in. You can't just want the rewards. You've got to want the process. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to train. Everyone wants success, but not everyone wants to sacrifice. Everybody wants to be on stage, but few want to put in the work backstage. You've got to want the reps, the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears. You've got to want the lonely nights, the early mornings, the endless grind, because that's where greatness is made. And listen, don't expect applause. Don't expect validation. Don't expect people to understand, because most won't. They'll call you crazy. They'll say you're doing too much. They'll tell you to take it easy. But that's because they don't want it like you do. They don't see the vision. They don't feel the fire. That's not your problem. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to show them. You show them by staying focused when they're distracted. You show them by being consistent when they're comfortable. You show them by turning your pain into power and your losses into lessons. You show them by leveling up while they're standing still. Let your results speak so loud that nobody can ignore them. The truth is, nobody's going to hand you the life you dream of. You've got to take it. You've got to claim it. And to do that, you've got to want it deeply, desperately, unapologetically. This isn't the time to be passive. This isn't the time to wish and wait. This is the time to grind, to get focused, to get disciplined, to go all in. You can't be half-hearted and expect full results. You can't give 50% and expect 100% returns. You've got to want it so badly that it keeps you up at night. You've got to want it so badly that the idea of not achieving it makes you sick. That's when you know you're on the right path. When your dream consumes you. When every decision you make is filtered through that dream. Will this bring me closer or take me farther? That's the question you ask every day. You've got to be relentless. You've got to be obsessed. You've got to have that dog mentality that no matter what comes, you're going to keep pushing. You're going to keep climbing. You're going to keep swinging. Because one thing's for sure, the person who wants it more always wins. Not the most talented, not the smartest, the one who refuses to be outworked. So what about you? How bad do you want it? Are you willing to sacrifice sleep? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort? Are you willing to stay disciplined when nobody's watching? Are you willing to keep going even when there's no applause, no recognition, no reward in sight? If you're serious about greatness, then the answer has to be yes. Every single day, no breaks, no excuses, no detours, just hunger, just drive, just heart. You've got to want it more than you want to stay safe. Because chasing a dream is risky. It requires vulnerability. It means failing in front of people. It means being misunderstood. But if you want to live a life of purpose, a life of impact, then you have to walk that path anyway. You have to walk it with your head high, your chest out, and your eyes on the prize. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The time is now. The fight is now. The grind is now. You've got to show up today like everything depends on it. Because it does. You got to want it so bad that you're willing to start at the bottom and work your way up. That you're willing to fail again and again until you figure it out. That you're willing to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Because that belief, that unshakable faith in your vision, that's what's going to carry you when your strength runs out. This isn't about talent. It's about tenacity. It's about heart. It's about soul. It's about how bad you want it when everything around you tells you to give up. And when you do want it that bad, when you lock in with that level of hunger, nothing can stop you. Not setbacks, not critics, not circumstances. So let the world doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them laugh and then grind. Grind in silence. Build in silence. Work in silence. And then when the time is right, when you've outworked, outlasted, and outgrown the noise, let your success make all the noise you need. You've got to want it more than comfort, more than fear, more than excuses, more than average, more than anything, because only then, and only then will you rise to the level of greatness that's already inside of you. You just have to be willing to go get it. So activate that beast mode. Tap into that deep part of you that refuses to settle. Lock in, show up, grind hard, and want it more than anything. Excuses. They're the chains we willingly wrap around our potential. They're the lies we tell ourselves to feel comfortable in the discomfort of mediocrity. They're seductive, they sound logical, they feel real. But at the end of the day, excuses are nothing more than permission slips we give ourselves to not try harder, not go further, not become greater. Excuses make sense to the one who's making them. And that's the problem. When you make an excuse, it feels like a solid reason. Feels like protection. It feels like a shield from judgment, from failure, from pressure. You tell yourself, I'm tired, or I don't have time, or I've been through too much, and it feels valid. It feels justified. But what you don't see in that moment is the opportunity you're killing, the future you're sacrificing, the dream you're postponing, or worse, destroying. Excuses don't just delay progress, they deny it. They build walls around your greatness and tell you stay here where it's safe. And guess what? Safe doesn't lead to success. Comfort doesn't lead to championships. Nobody ever reached their highest potential sitting on a couch blaming their circumstances. You will never find greatness living in the land of excuses. You've got to wake up and realize the more excuses you make, the more you let life slip by. You're not just avoiding hard work. You're avoiding transformation. You're not just skipping a rep at the gym or pushing off studying for tomorrow. You're skipping a moment that could change everything. And all because you made an excuse that only made sense to you. Let's talk real. You've seen people come from nothing, broken homes, poverty, trauma, abuse, and still rise. You've seen people with fewer resources, less talent, less opportunity, go harder than those with everything at their fingertips. Why? Because they stopped making excuses. They realized that even if the excuse made sense, it wasn't worth holding on to. They chose effort over explanation. They chose discipline over distractions. Excuses are dangerous because they're easy, they're soft, they feel good in the short term, but they rob you in the long term. They sound like I'll do it later, or I'm not ready yet, or it's not the right time. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time. There's only now. And every excuse you make today becomes a habit tomorrow. And once excuses become your habit, failure becomes your lifestyle. You've got to check yourself, hold up a mirror and ask, am I telling the truth or am I telling a story that makes me feel better? Be honest. Because if you're not honest with yourself, who will be? The world's not going to hold your hand. Life's not going to stop and wait for you to get motivated. The clock keeps ticking whether you're grinding or sleeping. And every second spent explaining why you can't is a second you could have spent figuring out how you can. Let me break it down even further. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. So it will try to protect you from pain, discomfort, fear, and failure. That's where excuses are born, from the survival part of your brain trying to keep you safe. But greatness doesn't live in safety. Growth lives in stretching yourself, in getting uncomfortable, in doing what others won't so you can have what others don't. That's why you got to override the excuses with purpose. You need a why that punches harder than your excuses. You got to want that dream more than you want to stay comfortable. You got to be so committed that no excuse, no matter how good it sounds, can sway you from your mission. And let me tell you something. Those excuses, They don't care about your goals. They don't care about your future. They don't care if you stay broke, lost, confused, or unfulfilled. Excuses only care about one thing, keeping you exactly where you are. They are the enemy in disguise. And the more you entertain them, the more you empower them. Don't let your story become one of almost and what ifs. Don't be the person who had the talent, the vision, the passion, but couldn't break up with their excuses. Don't be the one who watches others win and says, I could have done that, but never did. That regret, that heavier than any excuse you could ever carry. Some people say, but Ari, you don't know what I've been through. You're right, I don't. But I know this, pain is either going to be your prison or your platform. It's either going to keep you stuck or push you forward. You can either use your story to excuse yourself from becoming great, or you can use it to fuel your rise. The choice is yours. You think you're the only one dealing with hard stuff? You think champions haven't gone through hell and back? You think legends haven't had moments of doubt, fear, failure? Of course they have, but they didn't let their pain become their excuse. They let it become their reason, their fuel, their fire. I was homeless. I ate out of trash cans. I had every reason to make excuses, every reason to quit, but I didn't. Because I wanted to win more than I wanted to wallow. I wanted to make my mom proud more than I wanted to feel sorry for myself. I chose greatness over guilt, discipline over drama. And if I can do it, broken, lost, abandoned, then so can you. But only if you stop making excuses. You want to lose weight? Then stop saying, I don't have time. Wake up earlier, stay up later, make time. You want to start that business? Then stop saying, I don't know how. Learn, study, ask questions. You want to be a leader? Then stop saying, I'm not good enough. Get better, level up, rise. Nobody's coming to save you. That's the harsh truth. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you opportunity. Nobody owes you understanding. You've got to earn every step of it. And that starts with killing your excuses. You've got to treat every excuse like an enemy trying to rob your destiny. Because that's exactly what it is. You've got to confront it, challenge it, say, no, not today. I've got too much riding on this. My dream matters too much. My legacy matters too much. You've got to remind yourself that the world doesn't reward excuses. It rewards execution. And listen, I'm not saying life is fair. It's not. Some people start with more. Some have it easier, but so what? Are you going to let that be your excuse? Or are you going to grind twice as hard? Are you going to cry about the mountain, or are you going to climb it? You've got to get to a point where your dream is so big, so powerful, so necessary that it burns through every excuse like fire through paper. You've got to be so locked in that nothing can stop you. Not fear, not fatigue, not failure. Excuses keep you small. They keep you invisible. They keep you powerless. But when you drop the excuses, you pick up your power. You pick up your responsibility. You pick up your vision and say, let's go. No more blaming, no more stalling, no more waiting. It's go time. Don't wait until you feel ready. You may never feel ready. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They may never come. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start now, because every step you take without an excuse is a step toward your destiny. You've got to develop a mindset that refuses to tolerate excuses. That means when your mind says, I'm too tired, you say, we don't operate off feelings. We operate off commitment. When your mind says it's too hard, you say, so what? I do hard things. When your mind says, I can't, you say, watch me. The only thing standing between you and your dream is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. Change the story, rewrite the narrative. Make it one of resilience, not retreat, one of power, not pity. And don't just hold yourself accountable. Surround yourself with people who call out your excuses. You don't need friends who co-sign your weaknesses. You need teammates who challenge your greatness, who said, nah, that ain't good enough. You said you wanted this, act like it. Excuses will ruin your relationships, your finances, your health, your happiness. They are the termites of the soul, eating away at everything solid until all you have left is dust. And one day, you'll look back and realize you were the one holding yourself back the whole time. Don't let that be your story. Choose effort. Choose execution. Choose excellence. Every time you silence an excuse, you strengthen your resolve. Every time you act instead of explaining, you grow. Every time you fight through the urge to quit, you evolve. That's the process. That's the formula. That's beast mode. Because in beast mode, there are no excuses. Only results. Only purpose. Only action. And that's where you belong. Success is not for the weak. It's not for the ones who show up only when they feel like it. It's not for those who wait for the stars to align, for the perfect day, the perfect mood, the perfect timing. Success belongs to the warriors, the grinders, the ones who show up every single day, rain or shine, pain or peace, hell or high water. The ones who show up not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. See, when you think of success, you think of the result, the car, the house, the money, the status. But what you don't see is the grind, the blood, the sacrifice, the discipline, the moments behind the curtain when nobody was watching. That's the part people skip. That's the part people overlook. They don't see the pain. They don't see the discipline. They don't see the tears that come with showing up when your body is broken, when your spirit is tired, when your mind is screaming, stop. But the warrior shows up anyway. The grinder says, let's go. They don't make excuses. They don't negotiate with pain. They don't fold under pressure. They rise in it. They don't just go through the fire. They become the fire. You think success is given? You think it's handed out to anyone with a dream and a vision board? No. Success is earned in the dark, in the silence. It's earned when you show up early, leave late, and give more than anyone expects. It's earned when you push past limits, when you break through barriers, when you stare your weakness in the face and say, you're not strong enough to stop me. Because the truth is, the path to success will break you before it builds you. It will test everything you say you want. It will call your bluff. It will ask you, do you really want this? Or are you just pretending? And if you're weak, if you're soft, it will spit you out. But if you're a warrior, if you got that beast inside you that refuses to quit, then you will rise. You will evolve. You will conquer. Success demands something deep from you. It demands your consistency. It demands your grit. It demands your resilience. That's why most people never taste real success, because it requires more than talent, more than ambition. It requires obedience to the grind, loyalty to the mission, faithfulness to the process, even when the process hurts. You see, everybody wants success, but not everybody wants to suffer for it. Not everybody wants to bleed for it. Not everybody wants to put in the thousands of hours when nobody's clapping, when nobody's calling, when nobody's praising. But that's where success is born. It's born in silence, in struggle, in solitude. The weak, they want the glory, but they don't want the grind. They want the prize, but they don't want the pain. They want the spotlight, but not the sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get the reward without the war. You don't get the breakthrough without the breakdown. You don't get the success without showing up every single day and doing the work, especially when it hurts. The warriors, they don't care about the conditions. They don't care if it's cold, if it's raining, if they're tired. They don't care if they're hungry, if they hurt, if they hate it on. They show up because they made a vow to themselves. They made a decision to go all in. They made a promise that no matter what it takes, they're not stopping until they win. You want to be successful? Then stop negotiating with your circumstances. Stop letting your feelings make decisions for your future. Stop being inconsistent with your grind. The warrior mind says, I may not feel like it, but I still show up. The grinder says, I may be in pain, but I still put in work. The beast says, I may be doubted, but I'm still destined. You don't need perfect conditions to be great. You just need a committed heart, a focused mind, a disciplined soul. You just need to show up when most people would stay down. You just need to push when most people will pause. The difference between winners and wishes, the wishes stop when it's hard. The winners keep going. The wishes take breaks. The winners take territory. The wishers wait for motivation. The winners are driven by purpose. Success isn't just about talent. There are a million talented people who never made it because they were soft, because they didn't have that killer instinct, that dog in them, that unwillingness to be denied. But the grinders, the warriors, they take what they want because they've already paid the price with effort. You've got to be willing to fight for it. I'm talking war. I'm talking showing up to the battlefield of life every single day with your boots laced and your heart armored. I'm talking about waking up when you don't want to, practicing when it's boring, repeating the basics when your ego says you're too advanced, because that's what warriors do. They humble themselves to the process. They embrace the struggle. They welcome the pain because they know that pain is producing power. Every rep, every step, every sacrifice. It's not just about grinding. It's about becoming. You're not just chasing success. You're becoming the type of person who can handle success. Because the truth is, if you're not strong enough to endure the process, you'll never be strong enough to handle the promise. Success has weight. And only those who've been built in the gym of adversity can carry it. Only those who've trained in the shadows can shine in the spotlight. Only those who've suffered in silence can lead in greatness. The weak, they get tired and quit. The warriors, they get tired and dig deeper. The grinders, they get tired and switch gears. They find a way to keep going because quitting is not in their DNA. Surrender is not in their vocabulary. You got to get it through your head. This is war. Not a playground, not a game. This is life, and life will hit you. Life will try to break you. Life will test you to see if you really want what you say you want. And if you're weak, you'll fold, but if you're strong, you'll rise. When life knocks you down, you don't cry, you don't complain, you don't post about it. You get up and go harder. You use the pain as fuel. You use the setback as set up. You use the failure as focus. You've got to want it so bad that even your excuses start to feel ashamed. You've got to want it so bad that no rejection, no betrayal, no loss. You've got to want it so bad that sleep becomes a luxury and quitting becomes a curse. Success is for the committed, not the casual. Success is for the relentless, not the relaxed. Success is for the one who is willing to pay the price every day without question, without complaint, without pause. You've got to become obsessed with improvement, obsessed with growth, obsessed with getting better. Every single day. While others are distracted, you stay focused. While others are playing, you're preparing. While others are giving up, you're grinding up. The truth is, warriors don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. They don't wait for opportunity. They build it. They don't wait for motivation. They manufacture it. You have to rise above comfort, rise above convenience, rise above emotion. Your feelings don't get to decide your future. Your faith does. Your work does. Your hustle does. You've got to step into every day like it's your last chance, like the clock is ticking and time is running out. Because it is. Life isn't waiting for you to get ready. Life isn't slowing down because you're scared. Life is moving. And if you're not moving with it, you're being left behind. This is not about talent. It's not about connections. It's not about luck. It's about heart. It's about fire. It's about endurance. Can you keep going when everything around you says quit? Can you rise when everything inside you says rest? The real ones, they don't complain about the grind. They embrace it. They know the grind is where character is built, where strength is born, where destiny is shaped. You want success? You better be ready to earn it, to sweat for it, to bleed for it, to cry for it. Because nothing worth having comes cheap. Nothing powerful comes without pressure. You are being forged. Every challenge is shaping you. Every failure is refining you. Every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you are becoming the warrior you were born to be. This life, this dream, it doesn't belong to the weak. It belongs to the ones who refuse to give up. The ones who don't need applause to keep going. The ones who keep showing up even when they're invisible. So stop playing small. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for easy. Instead, wake up, lock in, and declare, I'm built for this. I'm made for this. I am the warrior. I am the grinder, and I show up no matter what. You don't get to greatness by accident. You don't wake up one day, roll out of bed, and suddenly find yourself standing at the peak of success. That's not how it works. Greatness is earned. It is demanded. It requires pain, persistence, and power from within. It requires you to take complete ownership over your journey, to stop blaming, stop complaining, and start grinding. When you hear someone say own your life, they're not giving you a motivational quote to smile at and move on from. They're telling you the truth, the raw, uncut, unapologetic truth. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's not your boss' fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not the system. It's not your background. It's not where you were born. It's you. Own it. Own every choice, every habit, every action, every thought, every second you waste or invest. That's what separates the beast from the average. The beast stops pointing fingers and starts pointing the way. The beast doesn't say, I could have made it if only this hadn't happened. The beast says, I'm going to make it happen no matter what. Too many people are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to believe in them, waiting for things to line up. But warriors don't wait, they create. They take responsibility for their situation and start working on the solution. And guess what? That solution starts with you. Your decisions shape your destiny. Your habits create your reality. And if you're not willing to take ownership of those things, you'll always be at the mercy of someone else's plan. You'll always be a character in someone else's story instead of the author of your own. There are people who will spend their entire life blaming their lack of success on something or someone outside themselves. And then there are people who take control, step up, and say, if it is to be, it's up to me. That's ownership. That's beast mode. Look, there are going to be days you don't feel like it. Days when it would be so much easier to just stay in bed, skip the gym, avoid the work. Days when your mind says, it's okay to take it easy, but the beast inside you has to rise up and say, not today. Because the beast understands something most people don't. Discipline is the bridge between goals and greatness. You want to change your life? Take ownership of your morning. Don't hit snooze. Get up, move your body, feed your mind, set the tone, because how you start your day determines how you live your life. And every day is a vote for the person you're becoming. Own your habits, own your thoughts, own your attitude. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. You can choose strength over weakness, growth over comfort, responsibility over blame. Ownership means you stop waiting for the rescue team, you become your own rescue team. You don't sit around hoping someone will come fix your life. You build the mindset, the skill set, and the work ethic to fix it yourself. And when life hits you, because it will hit you, you don't fold. You don't break. You adapt. You adjust. You overcome. Because beasts aren't defined by what happens to them. They're defined by how they respond. Ownership is brutal. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to look in the mirror and be honest about what you've been avoiding. But that's where the power is. That's where the breakthrough begins. That's where the transformation happens. You will never rise higher than your level of personal accountability. You want big results? Take big responsibility. Own your focus, own your energy, own your execution. You can't have excuses and excellence in the same space. One will always cancel the other. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep telling yourself the same story about why you can't? Or are you going to write a new story about how you did? Your goals don't care about your excuses. Your future doesn't care about your comfort zone. Success only answers to the voice of ownership. And if you want to be great, you got to speak that language. Be relentless. Be ruthless with your excuses. Be obsessed with accountability. Don't let yourself off the hook. Don't lower your standards to match your feelings. Raise your actions to match your vision. Every day, ask yourself, am I owning my time, my choices, my results? Because the truth is, if you're not owning them, someone else is. And they're using your power to build their dream while you sit on the sideline. You have a choice. You can keep blaming, or you can start building. You can keep complaining, or you can start conquering. But you can't do both. You want beast mode? Then own your life. Every second, every decision, every outcome. That's where greatness begins. So now the question is simple. What are you going to do with this power? Because owning your life isn't a one-time event. It's a daily decision. It's waking up every morning and choosing to take full control over your actions, your mindset, your grind, your growth. It's being brutally honest with yourself, holding yourself to a higher standard, and refusing to settle for anything less than your full potential. The beast doesn't wait for a perfect moment. It creates it. It doesn't wait for permission. It takes it. And it sure as hell doesn't let excuses hold the pen to its story. This is your time. This is your fight. This is your life. Own it. Activate the beast and never ever look back. There will be storms. There will be setbacks. There will be pain. But that pain, if owned, becomes power. That struggle, if faced, becomes strength. Every scar is a story of survival. Every hardship is a chance to grow. This is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time. Ownership means you never hand your power over to circumstances. You hold on to it. You wield it. You use it to forge a path that's yours and yours alone. When you take that kind of responsibility, nothing can stop you for long. You may stumble, you may crawl, but you will keep moving. Because a beast knows the journey is long, but quitting is not an option. The beast is committed to growth. It learns from every failure, adapts to every challenge, and never lets comfort kill its calling. Beast mode is not hype. It's not a slogan. It's a lifestyle. It's waking up with purpose. Training like your life depends on it. Speaking to yourself with truth, not pity. Pushing past limits others bow to. Every single moment you own it, because you understand that mediocrity is a mindset, and so is mastery. Choose mastery. Choose effort over excuses. Action over apathy. Fire over fear. Most people talk, be the one who acts. Most people dream, be the one who does. Beast mode isn't about perfection. It's about ownership. Relentless, consistent ownership. You stop blaming your past and start building your future. You stop waiting to be discovered and start doing what it takes to be undeniable. You stop reacting and start creating. This is not a game. This is your life, the only one you get. And the beast in you doesn't want to waste it. The beast in you wants to rise, roar, and reign. But that only happens when you own every piece of the process. So let the world watch. Let the doubters doubt. Let the haters hate. But you grind. You grow. You evolve. You conquer. And you do it not because it's easy, but because you decided to own it all. Own your wins. Own your losses. Own your evolution. Own your greatness. Beast mode activated. And now there's no turning back. And now we come to the final moment, the moment of truth. Because everything you've just heard, everything you've just felt, everything you've been challenged to understand means nothing if you don't take the next step. And the next step is not about hype. It's not about being motivated for 5 minutes or an hour. The next step is transformation. The next step is action. The next step is ownership on a whole new level. Because beast mode activated isn't a switch you flip for the gym or a phrase you chant to pump yourself up before a big event. No, beast mode is a decision. It's a code. It's a commitment to yourself that you will not go back to being average. You will not go back to blaming others. You will not go back to fear, to comfort, to excuses. Because once the beast is activated, there's no shutting it down. You see, average people keep wishing, but the beast keeps working. Average people ask for the blueprint, the beast becomes the architect. Average people look for signs, the beast becomes the signal. And when life throws obstacles in the path, when the world tells you no, when the circumstances are stacked against you, that's when a beast comes alive. That's when ownership becomes your weapon. That's when you take your pain and turn it into power. That's when your scars become your armor. You don't ask, why is this happening to me? You declare, this is happening for me. And that shift, that's what puts you in a class of your own. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them mock. Because while they wasting time judging, you're busy building. While they clapping back online, you're creating legacy in real life. While they're sleeping in, you're putting in reps in the gym, in your mind, in your hustle, in your grind. Beast mode doesn't need validation. It runs on vision, it runs on mission, it runs on hunger. And that hunger, that fire, it doesn't die with failure. It grows with resistance. It multiplies with setbacks. It sharpens with each challenge, because the beast knows the greater the pressure, the more valuable the diamond. And you're becoming that diamond. You're under pressure for a reason. You're not breaking, you're becoming. You're not buried, you're being built. Every rejection, every disappointment, every delay, it's shaping you. It's sculpting the version of you that can handle what you've asked for. Because you don't want success you can't sustain. You don't want wins you didn't earn. You don't want blessings that turn into burdens because you didn't do the inner work. That's why ownership matters. That's why accountability is the key. Because beast mode is not about short-term hype. It's about long-term legacy. And legacy is built when no one is watching. When you're working in silence. When you're grinding in darkness. When you're studying, sacrificing, sweating, and showing up even when no one claps. That's the beast. It doesn't need the lights to be on. It doesn't need the applause. It just needs the mission. And every time you own your day, your choices, your grind, you're leaving a mark. A mark that says, I was here, I lived, I gave everything, I did not waste my shot. Because the biggest tragedy in life is not failure. The biggest tragedy is regret. And when you live in beast mode, regret has no room to breathe. Now hear me. This isn't going to be easy. In fact, the moment you activate beast mode, life might hit harder. People might walk away. Distractions might multiply. Challenges might increase. But don't take that as a sign to stop. Take it as proof you're on the right path. Pressure is the gatekeeper to greatness. And pain is the price of purpose. If you want extraordinary results, you've got to put in extraordinary effort. You've got to be willing to do what 99% won't so you can live like 1% do. That means owning every hour. That means owning every decision. That means standing firm even when you're scared. It means betting on yourself even when no one else will. Because the beast doesn't ask for certainty. The beast creates certainty through action, through discipline, through consistency, through mindset. Every single day you have the chance to vote for the person you want to become. And it doesn't matter how many times you fall, as long as you keep getting back up. Strong. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you a force to be reckoned with. So right now, this is your moment. This is not just the end of a speech. This is the start of your next level. Don't just walk away inspired. Walk away committed. Don't just nod your head, move your feet, make the changes, cut the excuses, embrace the challenge, run into the storm, because that's where your greatness lives. Inside the resistance, inside the heart, inside the responsibility you've been avoiding. This is your wake-up call, your reminder, your roar. Stop waiting, start owning. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand it to you. It's yours. But you've got to claim it with your actions, with your heart, with your grind. Activate that beast. Show the world what it looks like when a human being takes full responsibility for their life. Show them what happens when someone stops playing small and starts playing full out. Show them what unstoppable really looks like, not in words, but in results, in hustle, in transformation. Because when the beast is activated, the world takes notice. Not because you said you would, but because you showed up day after day, relentless, focused, driven, and unshakable. And that right there is what changes lives. That is what changes legacies. And that is how you prove to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you were built for this, that you were born for more, that nothing, absolutely nothing can stop you. Beast mode activated permanently. Let's go.